Okay, the May 2nd meeting of Lakewood City Council is hereby called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We will now pause for a moment of silence. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Baker.
Here.
Bullock.
Here.
Keppel. Here. Litton.
Here.
Rader.
Here.
Jochner.
Oh, yes. Oh, before we get to our previous meetings minutes, I'd like to move to amend our agenda item 1 to include the Committee of the Whole report for today, May 2nd, as well as the other two.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Reading and disposal of the minutes of the regular meeting of council held April 18th, 2022.
Move to dispose without the necessity of a reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 1, Committee of the Whole report regarding, oh, I'm sorry.
A little bit of business to tend to.
Yes, excuse me. Before that, elections for president of council.
Mr. President, Mr. Acting President,
Councilmember Bullock.
given the fact that we've had now taken effective resignation of the former President of the Council, Ward 4 Councilman Dan O'Malley, it's certainly in order to consider elections for the President and Vice President. There are a bunch of eligible colleagues of mine up here on the dais. But it'd be my honor to move that we elect you, the acting president, as president of the council.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Mr. Chair, some discussion?
I'm sorry. Discussion, yes.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to acknowledge your service for many years to Ward 3 and to our body as a council vice president these past more than 2 years. Second, I look forward to your continued facilitation of all the work we've begun doing with the hospital redevelopment and many other things. And so I look forward to your service. I also do look forward to the opportunity to support other colleagues in the fullness of time so that we have new opportunities for many other council members to serve. You've been vice president, now you move up to president. I hope that we can also have other opportunities for other council members to move up to vice president, president, et cetera, and do that on a more rapid basis than we've done traditionally, where we've had 1 or 2 leaders serve for quite some time. That's one model for leadership. I think the talent on this body is palpable, and I'm hopeful that we would be able to find opportunities for more council members to have the opportunity to serve in the near future. So just a little context for how I see things. And I say that with the intent to not myself seek council leadership, but to support others in their goals.
Thank you, Councilman. I really appreciate those comments. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, down here. I think it's appropriate to see if there's any other nominations at this point in time for council president, and to put that out there to see if there's any other nominations for council president in addition to the motion that was just made.
All right.
So to consider that as well, and then separately you'd make after the vote on the nomination is made, then separately you make a vote on the actual nomination.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. I think hearing none, All those in favor of the nomination, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes. Move to, not yet, as our law director just pointed out.
Good enough.
I accept.
I think it was the closed nominations was the motion.
I think the proper, make a motion to elect you as council president, I think. Or if that motion would be made by somebody.
Move to elect Councilman Litton to the office of president.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Small comment. This doesn't mean that I like saying at sports teams. So I'll just
Duly noted, Councilman.
I like you, not saying at sports teams. So now let's vote. Yeah.
Very clear, quite clear. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now that motion passes. All right. And if I just might provide some quick comment, I just want to quickly say how blessed and imperfect of an individual I am. I think that the days of titles and things like that mattering for me and my resume and all that sort of stuff are gone. For me, this is about affecting meaningful change in our city and improving the lives of our residents, and about working together to improve the quality of life for our residents. And I'm thankful for everybody who's ever supported me in any way. I'm also thankful for everybody who's ever disagreed with me in any way. You make me better. I think you make us better. When you come to our meetings and you question things and you ask the tough questions, I'm just thankful, and I'm also extremely thankful for the unanimous support of my colleagues tonight. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. Can we move on now? All right. Madam Clerk.
Elections for Vice President of Council.
Mr. President,
Councilman Bullock.
may I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Sarah Keppel for Vice President of Council.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Well, I'll just say that if our recent discussions on the hospital redevelopment have been any indication, Councilmember Keppel, you've been an incredible asset to our council as far as your work ethic, your thought process, your organizational skills, your thoughtfulness, kindness, all those things. So I am thrilled to support you as Vice President. Any further discussion?
Ditto.
Any other nominations for Vice President? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of closing nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. And with that, we'll officially move to name Sarah Keppel as Vice President of Council.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Bullock.
I agree with what you said. It's very clear that Councilwoman Keppel is detailed in her work, her research. She's expansive in her thinking. She's responsive to the public. She engages proactively with the business community. Those are all things I think that a good council person ought to do, and I look forward to the combined talents of you and her together to help council facilitate its work, make efficient use of our common resources with the council office and budget and all. So there's wonderful things ahead, and and the bar has been set high by your recent work, so I'm happy to support the motion.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. Any further comment, Vice President?
Thank you. Thank you all so much. It's truly an honor. When I applied for the appointment in 2020, I pitched to all of you who were here then, that I could be a consensus builder and bring us together and work for the good of our community. And that is still my intent now that I'm elected in my own term, and I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. I know that in the administration, I really enjoy learning from each of you and from the directors about your special subjects and learning what I don't know and being humble about that, and making sure that we bring the best of each of us in service to Lakewood. So thank you for this opportunity and for your faith in me, and I look forward to working with you all. Thanks.
Thank you again. Congratulations. Madam Clerk.
Item 1, Committee of the Whole report regarding meetings held April 25th, April 28th, and May 2nd, 2022.
Thank you. I will not belabor the roughly 8 hours worth of meetings that are described in Agenda Item 1. I will simply state that we had, over the course of those 3 meetings, a very thorough discussion as a council about the redevelopment of our hospital site. Had very thorough discussion with the administration. Had the opportunity to meet and ask lots of questions to our developer and realty company and potential anchor tenant in the office space as well. And I just want to thank my colleagues for a very thoughtful and thorough discussion throughout the course of those meetings. I felt like public engagement on the topics has been great. Our residents have provided a lot of feedback to us as well. And I believe that we coalesced around a document as a council that states our priorities and recommendations for the development ultimately tonight at our May 2nd meeting. And I thank my colleagues again for their work in putting that document together. Move to receive and file.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 2, communication regarding hospital site redevelopment priorities.
Let's see, can we pull that up on the screen, or can we, or ought we to? This is the document described in our committee of the whole meetings tonight, outlining council's priorities for the redevelopment and really summarizing the discussions of the past month as a council. And as we're looking at that and seeking to approve it, I did just want to have it up on the screen so that, because it was a document really put together over the course of the weekend and into today, I didn't want there to be a sense that people didn't get a chance to see it. Sorry for the last minute AV, I suppose so. Yeah, well. Thank you. I will not read this communication in its entirety, but I will again state that it seeks to communicate council's priorities for the hospital redevelopment. It acknowledges that they are areas of the development that we hope to be incorporated and considered by the administration as it negotiates with our developer, CASTO. And again, does a nice job of summarizing, and I think the diagram here clearly shows that. And with that, I'll move to receive and file this communication. Motion's been made and seconded.
Mr. Chair, are we receiving and filing it here, and then we're adding it as an...
So it's already been added out of committee
To
the resolution. So when we get to the resolution, we can address the substitution there. But in this case, we are simply receiving and filing our communication as a council. And please correct me if I'm wrong, Law Director Corrigan. All right, for once. One for one, okay. Any discussion on the document? Not that we haven't heard from you already.
Just briefly, I just want to reiterate some comments that were made at Committee of the Whole.
Please.
Sometimes people don't watch Committee of the Whole. So quite frankly, I think this is an impressive document that does encompass council's viewpoints that were shared throughout the last 5 weeks, especially our discussion at Thursday's Committee of the Whole meeting. Turning to the Curtis Block discussion specifically, I think the language in there adequately, I keep saying adequately, accurately reflects the position of council and that we want to see all options on the table and that explored, and hope and see that the administration continues to work and make efforts to work with the Lakewood Heritage Advisory Board, who is the city's pretty much watchdog in terms of historic preservation in the city, that they do have a say. And I'm confident that throughout this iterative process, through Planning Commission and Architectural Board of Review, that every person responsible will look through this thoroughly and come out with the best product for the city of Lakewood.
Thank you. Any further comment? or
Mr.
discussion?
President, my first time calling you that.
Councilman Rader.
Thank you, as always. Well, I just want to, again, thank the drafters of this and council for pouring our time and effort into this, and Mr. Litton for bringing pizza the last meeting and helping us get through this as chair. I mean, you know, it was a great process. And I think also the administration deserves a lot of credit for this process up to this point. Even though we've had some disagreements maybe, and we've been able to, I think, work through a lot of this. I think the fact that we've gotten to this point, the public has been involved. There's so much that we've been able to compile in this document because we were able to have access to information and work with the administration through this. Has been, I think, everybody should be proud of what we're able to achieve in getting this together and having these meetings and distilling it down. And I think it'll provide a good sort of vision moving forward. And the term sheet, I think, is something I'll be supporting here in just a minute, in addition to what we're doing here. So I think this is, all in all, I think we're at a wonderful starting point to this whole process, and look forward to the negotiating of the deal. And I have to, you know, I wasn't very candid back. I was candid then, I'll be candid now. I wasn't this enthusiastic. The last deal that was before council several years ago, I didn't appreciate that process as much as I've really appreciated this council embracing this process, and as well as the public coming, giving us really good feedback. And this is, again, this is the start. I'm looking forward to the process with the boards, the commissions, the planning, the ABR. I'll try to attend as many as I can. I'll be out for a few weeks here in the summer for vacation, but I'll certainly be there, as this project means a lot to me, as this is in my neighborhood. So thank you, Mr. President, and I'll yield back.
Thank you. Any further comments from my colleagues?
Mr. President?
Councilmember, I'm sorry, Vice President Keppel. I'm going to get used to it.
I just thank you for those comments, and I just want to thank my colleagues for the great discussion over the last 5 weeks. I think we really dug in, as well as the administration. It's too bad that Director Leininger couldn't be with us here tonight. He's really put in a ton of work, as well as the rest of the planning department, Chief Story, Madam Mayor, everyone, the administration. It makes it easier for us to do our jobs when we have all of that detailed information, and you know, having that transparency, which is again what we're providing here, is that transparency too about council's priorities. And I look forward to continuing this process. Thank you to all the members of the public who have been here so far, and we have more conversations to be had. So please continue to stay involved with us.
Very good. Thank you. Anything further on the motion to receive and file? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 3, substitute resolution 2022-14, a resolution to take effect immediately authorizing the negotiation of an agreement by and between the City of Lakewood, a municipal corporation and political subdivision in and of the state of Ohio, and CASTO and North Point Realty related to the development of city-owned property at the southeast corner of Detroit Avenue and Bell Avenue.
Thank you. Law Director Corrigan, as this was recommended for adoption as substituted out of committee, I don't think we need to move to substitute, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
I will correct you. Tonight on the floor, we need to move to amend to add the council communication regarding this resolution as amended in tonight's committee of the whole meeting.
Okay. So I will make that motion to amend. Is that what you said?
To amend and substitute,
All right,
yes.
yeah. I'll make the motion to amend and substitute to include the cover letter and council priority document that was discussed in committee this evening.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, I'm sorry, roll call vote, I believe, on the substitution? Yes, thank you, sorry.
I just want to note, do we need to add wording to the end of section 1, which calls out the term sheet attached here to as Exhibit 1? It could also be Exhibit 2, the council addendum. I, again, defer to the attorneys on the wording. But so I'm clear, if we were to scroll to the next page, one more page. All right, this begins the term sheet. All the way at the end of that, what will appear in the substitute Exhibit 2, and then all of the pages from the council approved document that we agreed to in the committee of the whole. Is that
Well,
how-
Councilman, as I see it, we are approving one document ultimately that would
Agreed.
include our priorities. And so I don't know that we need to call out additional exhibits in the resolution itself.
Appreciate the clarification.
That's my perception anyway. Any further comment from my colleagues on the motion to substitute or amend and substitute? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk?
Baker.
Yes.
Bullock.
Yes.
Keppel.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Rader.
Yes?
Shackner.
Yes.
And that motion passes. Move to adopt.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? I guess we've had plenty. Okay. Madam Clerk?
Baker.
Yes.
Bullock.
Yes.
Keppel.
Yes.
Litton.
Yes.
Rader.
Yes?
Shackner.
Yes.
And that motion passes. And I'm excited about all the negotiations and efforts moving forward from here, and look forward to working with the mayor and her administration to get the best possible, highest and best use for that site for Lakewood.
Item 4, Resolution 2022-17, a resolution to affirm the City of Lakewood's participation in Nopex electricity aggregation program and to elect affordable, turnkey, clean energy service, among other consumer choices.
I'll move to adopt.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion. Councilmember Rader.
Oops, want to acknowledge Nicole Harris from Nopex here in the audience. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I think we went over this in pretty good detail at the last meeting, but in case anyone has any further questions, Nicole has offered to answer those for us tonight, but I'm in favor of this. We worked on this for several months, and I think it's just a great step in the right direction of achieving our sustainability goals and set forth in the resolution back in 2019 to actually achieve 100% green energy for our community. This is a good, big first step, so thank you, Council.
Thank you. Any further comment? Okay. On the motion to adopt, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 5, Ordinance 17, 2022, an ordinance to take effect immediately to approve the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances and to provide for the publication of such new matter.
Move to defer.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion passes.
Item 6, communication from Vice President Litton, or President Litton, regarding vacant Ward 4 council seat.
Thank you, colleagues. I won't read the letter verbatim, other than to say that we've opened up applications for the vacant Ward 4 council seat, previously held by our dear friend, former President Dan O'Malley. We ought to, in doing this, I'll save it for discussion. Actually, I'll move to receive and file. Motion's been made and seconded. Now, discussion. I think we need to set some sort of a deadline for this, and I think Clerk Bach, you talked about a potential date for our next council meeting for Committee of the Whole to perhaps start deliberations on the topic.
was just suggesting that the deadline be set
The Friday
in relation
prior.
to whenever.
Right. So I'd love to possibly start discussions on the potential candidates for Ward 4 at our next committee of the whole meeting, potentially held before our next council meeting, and thus close nominations for Ward 4 the Friday previous at around noon. I believe
It'd be Friday the 13th.
that is correct. Okay. Any further discussion,
Point of information?
Councilman?
Is there any applicants currently? Any?
There are 2 current applicants. One just came in this afternoon.
Excellent, thank you.
So we've got 11 days or so for anybody living in Ward 4 who would like to put their hat in the ring, so to speak, to
Mr.
do
President?
so. Vice President Keppel.
So that would be the May 16th Committee of the Whole. There is a public safety meeting at 6:30, so we would probably either only have half an hour, or we'd have to start at 5:30.
Yeah, at least spend a half an hour as a committee to discuss our process and decide on that. I would appreciate that anyway. Any further discussion on the motion to receive and file? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 7, Resolution 2022-18, a resolution to take effect immediately, appointing one person to the Ward 4 seat on Lakewood City Council for the remainder of the 4-year term ending December 31st, 2023.
Move to refer to Committee of the Whole.
Second?
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 8, communication from Director Duku regarding the acceptance of the 2022 Cuyahoga County Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant.
Director Duku.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear members of council, the city has been awarded a grant through the Cuyahoga County Healthy Urban Tree Grant Canopy Program. The attached resolution will allow the city to accept the grant in the amount of $50,000. The fund will be used to offset the general fund costs of the 22 fall and 23 spring planting programs. It is our goal to plant approximately 400 trees under this program at an estimated cost of $135,590. The county's $50,000 grant will represent an estimated 37% match to this program. Thank you for your consideration, Director Roman.
Thank you, Director. That's exciting. On the motion to, I'm sorry, I'll move to receive and file.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Bullock.
I want to thank the director and the administration for your continued diligent year-by-year work on urban forestry. It's, as we know, something you can't cram for the exam. You have to do it steadily over time. And I know this is not the first time you've pursued and successfully gotten funds. And keep it up. We love it. And so the residents appreciate it. And so thank you.
Mr. President?
Vice President Keppel.
Yeah, I'd also like to express my appreciation for your work getting this grant. And on behalf of the Tree Advisory and Education Board, want to make sure anyone who may be here tonight or is at home and wants a tree, the city has a tree program where you can get a tree in your yard, and also if you're missing one on your tree lawn, now would be a great time to ask for one, because we do need to grow our urban tree canopy. So just, while we have the floor, just making that little plug.
Thank you.
Plant a
And
tree.
Director Duku, two quick questions. Our tree planting occurs primarily or solely in the fall. Is that accurate? Or no? You do it throughout the year?
We plant about 200 in the spring and then 200 in the fall.
Okay, so it is
in,
both seasons.
Appropriate areas, as long as they're viable sites.
Okay, and this question's for you, Director, or the administration. Is there any time constraints on council's adoption of this resolution?
No.
I mean, I'm amenable to doing it tonight anyway, but just wanted to see if there were. Okay, and to my colleagues, is there any desire to refer this to a committee, or do we feel that we've had enough discussion on the topic on accepting money?
Yeah, I'd make a plug for the excess right-of-way near 90. There's some nice grass there that could be, have some tree canopy on it. So that's just a point. It always kind of cancels the noise and also increases the tree canopy for the city. So I would like to maybe meet with Director Duku offline and talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yes, all ward council people can lobby our public works director whenever necessary for more trees. All right. On the motion to receive and file the communication, any further discussion? No. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 9, Resolution 2022-19, a resolution to take effect immediately authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into the Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant Program project agreement with Cuyahoga County to accept an award of $50,000 and requiring Lakewood's previously budgeted $135,590 as a match.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion passes.
Item 10, liquor permit notice regarding Sum Sum LLC at 16300 Detroit Avenue, Suite 110.
Thank you. I believe we refer these to the ward council member for whom the permit is located. And for that, I believe we're Ward 2. Councilman
Ward
Shackner? Oh, is it Ward 1? Okay. My
Right
apologies.
on the border.
Yeah, okay.
I see no statutory reason to object to this.
Very good. Forgive me, on liquor permits, do we receive and file or do anything else with it? Or is that sufficient? Forgive me, I don't remember.
I would prefer to make a motion not to object to this
Okay.
permit.
Oh, make a motion to not object or file with no objection.
File no objection, yes, yes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. And with that, it's time for public comment. Do we have any public comments?
Last time I checked, we did not. The last time I checked, we did not. Thank you, David.
All right. Well, with no public comment, are there any announcements from the administration? All right. Any announcements from my fellow council members?
Mr. President?
Vice President Keppel.
I just want to remind everyone to exercise your constitutional right to vote tomorrow. And there are things on the ballot, so please get there and make your voice heard.
Thank you. Any other comments? Well, I would like to first, once again, thank my colleagues and for their support this evening of my council presidency and Councilmember Keppel's vice presidency. I'd also like to reiterate this council and their desire to work with the administration to get the best development for Lakewood at the former Lakewood Hospital site. And then last but not least, it is Professional Municipal Clerks Week, in case you didn't know. And we have an excellent clerk here on our city council, and I just wanted to recognize Maureen Bach for her work. I always knew she did a lot, but being chair of committee of the whole, and then acting president, and then president of late, I get to see on the inside just how much work and thought and care goes into all that council does for us. So we really appreciate you. All right. With that, move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. We're adjourned.